triggered. I'm gonna full send it. We're gonna just do it up here. We'll get to this later. That H1 Gambit. Oh, over there. Lazar. Inside here, let's actually, we'll be talking about this while we're building a certain subset of equipment. Generally, what I've been doing with my Facebook timeline, see, I'd love to let this keep playing while I'm going, but I want to keep this in the satire. This is going to keep clicking out on me, so I can't really move anything. Hopefully, you've been running with me. See how this whole chart here, Fermi's probably really good at explaining that functional analysis report. So if I had my charts up here and I was going through my pictures on the timeline and I could get you my projectile momentum equation, I'd tell you, like, look, Campbell Soup was hitting on this and this, and I was kind of telling it early from its big waves, and that's the mathy way to hack that. So when math beats all and McCain comes back apparently and does its deal, that's why. There's a Gaussian, when they're doing Born Identity, it's this Laffer curve type probability that they're programming this machine to do. So it references that orbital on a helical turn where it gets back to its bottom line for the day, like students, or how you would have to then break down this deep field, my videos in sequence on a timeline about why in that version of the classroom I'm not responsible for answering any goddamn questions about you having to figure out the math of if credit scores are better than what you did here is a result that does in that field, given physics, A+ students, your graphs start in the season, they got that. Or against gravity, those charts kind of define something, and I'd look right at Fermi in the college and tell them, well, that's part of the uncertainty, I suppose. Or, why the decoherence and Compton scattering would be the difference of me shooting out of the barn like that or not. And, to those effects, you could see that the credit, some laugh, some cry, on the scale of things, there I am at a large star comparatively to a black hole on the credit score. And that's for real, and I'm glad that these hurt lockers that I put myself in as far as foul and foul often, make sure I catch those rabbits in the bird trap there in the shed, how to build a birdhouse. I'm going to give myself a 3rd degree burn before I put it on YouTube, or I put it on YouTube, get the 3rd degree burn and learn from that. And that is the number, and you're 100% right about Venus or the orbital of Mercury. Could not be more correct about it if I'm an astrology kid over in Mayan territory back in the day about the lunar phases of things. And that's important to them. And that's a gravity wave of its own when you do hidden variable, apparently, because the result, no matter how crazy it is, or your extended fibicles on the morning, to the charts, to the week, or why some of those lines... Q&P, general, right? Topology, I bet you the Romans are going to plow through there, and I'm going to go log in. And, that's fair ball. That's why I would get the money like that, I suppose. If in the field with that momentum and velocity, that actually, well, love it or hate it, Jupiter's position there, Jupiter will do that later. And in a way, Apollo would do that as well. Very weakly attracted. Come on into the stone mill with the 42 Edness and the PT versus NP test for MPs, right? Military police in there got to make the decision. Either you're pushing paperwork, running to the library to get the Jaguar SAW program to get the pin chip number, easy to check, easy to look up, organization of field theories and students, kids who do that time, and lock that in against the PT test or NP test of just in the stone mill. The numbers of writing that down, I'm going to go to the office, but before you take off, I got all that written down at my desk. Way easier to check and look up over there if you believe me. I'm not saying that the library and the altar at dawn is not the right answer. Find the L-bracket. But at that rate right there, I could watch my other General Mills stock for a little while. Nothing wrong with that, boss. Take it up with Bones and Lou later. Bowser and me are shoveling ditches, and that's where the money is today, unless you need me to operate. really. Hit the skid steer, hit the saw, whichever one of those in the frame rate make that 45 the best. I was hoping you'd slide that into the unit of that measurement there, because in a way I walk a line every single day. Over the averages of those days, there's a master mason walkthrough, so it's useful and interesting and high prime to teach somebody that line before any other line. And I'd imagine that helped make a Buddha one stone piece out there, or some Indian temple. Catch you on the next one.